Hey, howdy. So contrary to the previous videos where I always had some sort of grand plan, I was looking at the badges and something kind of caught my eye. Oh, that's super cute. I am at 1818 out of 2000 for expeditions. So I think what I want to do for the next few videos is I kind of just want to do a bunch of free expeditions. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to do roughly 200 over the course of like 4 or 5 videos, but it could be a lasting thing. So we got Oil Drum World, which seems simple enough. But today will be fun because my plan for today is after this video, I'm going to go get dinner, and then I'm just going to do a bunch of things. I'm going to record the alchemy video, I'm going to do Harold Halibut, I'm going to do everything I said I was going to do because I keep getting distracted by things, and that has got to stop because this stuff is starting to pile up. Starting to hang over my head in a way that is very unpleasant. And I mean, frankly, I don't have anyone to blame but myself for that. But it's weirdly hard to push myself to actually do things right now. Because I'm in that pre-finals stir where there's not really much going on. It is a absolutely gorgeous day outside, so like add something else to the list of things that I kind of want to be doing and ought to be doing instead of this. Where even am I? Oh, I see. And I mean, while I'm here, I simply must check the laundromat. I have to check the laundromat. I gotta check the thing. Is it a shrimp? No. As it turns out, a 1 in 65,000 chance is kind of small. But I'm in that kind of weird section of time where there's not really much going on, but I also don't really have the energy to go and do new things, and I really just have to push myself to do new things so that I'm not just sitting here stagnating for the next week and a half. Because truly, after finals, there's nothing for me to do, and I'm out of state, so I can't exactly go back home. But I am going back home when finals happen, so for now it seems like my MO is just to wait for finals. Wait for finals and then make myself busy for the next week and then graduate and then go home. Which is wild. And I also, I mean, I've got a million different ideas for things that I want to do with regards to this channel, with regards to Isaac modding, which that is still on the back burner, with regards to new series I want to do, new games that I want to play. Like, it's all a whizzing, buzzing mess of plans and obligations, and I gotta take a step back. I gotta take a step back, deal with the stuff that I have right now, and then, like, start to take it a little bit slower so that I don't completely so that I don't just, um, what was the phrasing that I used a bit ago? Fold inwards on myself like a paper doll. Ooh, Ancient Aeropolis. I mean, this place is pretty, but it's a headache to get to. All the Rio locations are, well, they have a reputation for a reason. Sort of irregardless of Rio's reputation, the worlds are annoying to navigate. But I was spending part of today reading through the list of U.S. presidents because, I mean, a couple of reasons. The first one is that I was looking through. I was looking ahead to the presidential primary, and I don't consider myself to be a very politically charged person, but I was just. This is kind of the opinion that I ended up sticking with for 2020, and it seems to be carrying over. That it's a little concerning that this will be the third election where, regardless of who wins, they will be the oldest president in American history. Because I don't remember don't remember the president's ages off the top of my head, but Trump in 2016 was the oldest president up to that point, and then Biden in 2020 was the oldest president up to that point, and then regardless of who wins, if it is going to be those two again, they're going to be the oldest president in American history again. Which is mildly concerning. I wasn't aware of the fact that we lived in a gerontocracy, but I guess we do. Gerontocracy? I don't know how you pronounce that. But it's also just, I like looking up information about US presidents because it's always such a blind spot in history class and just in general. I'd be willing to wager that most Americans can't name more than, say, 20 US presidents. That seems like a fair amount. Because, like, right off the top of my head, the ones that come to mind that seem like freebies, you got Washington, Jefferson, John Adams. Hang on, so 1, 2, 3, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, Lyndon B. Johnson, John F. Kennedy, and then everything from, I'd wager from Nixon forward is a pretty good guess that people are at least aware of those presidents from then on. Because they're recent enough that people still talk about them. But there are two sets of US presidents that are a little bit more interesting in the fact that people just don't talk about them very much. And those two sets are, hang on. Am I even going the right way? Blue, yellow. Yes, this is correct. I just have to go up. There are two sets of US presidents that are the two Gilded Ages. Now, if you don't know what the Gilded Age is, it's a US politics thing. The long and short of it is that the Gilded Age is the period of time where rich people ruled the government. And I mean that way, way more than, like, we can say all we want about the presidents that are currently acting president, but the term political machine comes to mind. And it's a very fitting way to describe how things worked in that period of time. Where you pump money in and you pump votes out. And that's just the way that it worked. And as a result, the acting presidents didn't really have a lot of power. And it led to a lot of... I just went right back through the entrance, didn't I? Yep. Unless I'm missing something, I should just be able to head straight down, right? Yeah, it should be this. Okay, and then yellow. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, I see it now. Confusing map layout. It's not here, it's the one over on the left. So you end up with a lot of US presidents that people really just don't care about because they didn't do a whole lot. The Millard Fillmores of the world that are kind of just there, and people can make jokes about the fact that no one remembers them, but that's also the only reason that they remember. And it's kind of funny how popularity works in that way. That there's a good chunk of US presidents that are remembered because of how unmemorable they are. Like James Buchanan comes to mind in that regard. People remember James Buchanan because he's generally considered to be the worst president in US history, and he is kind of just really boring and inoffensive. The only thing that really comes to mind is that he was either gay or ace. I don't know for sure, but it was definitely one of those two. I think I've told this story before, but let me set myself on this path first. Ooh. There are a bunch of ways to get here. I kind of want to go through Restored Character World. That seems fun. Let me find something real fast. Okay, Restored Character World. It's over here. I'm having to like two-hand this. It's working out better than I was expecting it to. So the thing about James Buchanan is that James Buchanan was a very mid president. So much so that he's considered to be one of the worst in US history because he was president right before, I believe right before Lincoln? Right as the tide was about to turn that would lead to, this is the wrong way. Ah, pen passage. Okay, that's actually, I've never actually seen that before. But, James Buchanan isn't really known for very much, but he is known for one thing, and that he was the first, bachelor president. And depending on who you ask, you can add any amount of quotations around the word bachelor. Throughout his entire tenure as president, he never married. And this is, I mean, you can probably guess, this is very unusual for a US president. Okay, it should be right here. There you are, pen passage. This is highly unusual. Who made this world? Is this another Yumabako world? It must be. It's Hegekomi. Ah. What did I find? So the weird thing is, James Buchanan had two major loves in his life. The first one was, what is her name? Anne Carolyn Coleman, who he eventually broke off with her after she realized that he only seemingly was in it for her endowment. That's not a euphemism. I literally mean he was only in it for her money and her inheritance. So naturally, she did not like that very much, and I don't blame her. Okay, from here it should be cruel, bloody hallways. Ah, okay, I see. They separated, and then she inexplicably died of, air quotes, hysterical convulsions at the age of 23. Buchanan was presumably heartbroken, and from that point on, claimed that he remained unmarried out of devotion to his only love, who had died young. Now that's all well and good. It's a little cliche, but life is a little cliche. Oh, Sea of Clouds. It's not a place I visit very often. Yeah. I just got a pop-up that said I have been fully charged for too long. Never seen that one before. See, the thing about Buchanan is his close relationship with the Congressman William Rufus King. Now, King is, like, they had a very strange relationship. In that, in any other time period, or more importantly, a time period closer to the modern day, there would be no doubt in people's mind as to the kind of relationship that the two of them had. Because they were clearly close. The question is always how close. going the right way? Bloody hallways. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I should be going out the other way. And I mean, you could make the argument that, like, yeah, he was just good buds with the guy. Like, there's nothing really wrong with that, of course, but you can't really make any claims based on that. It's just, you know, they were close. But I just want to cite a specific thing. That, according to biographer Gene Baker, there's the argument to be made that, well, to put it bluntly, that they be fucking. And something important to note about William Rufus King is that he died. He died, I believe, midway through Buchanan's second term in office. And Buchanan was heartbroken about this, and he gave a eulogy for the man, where, you know, it's the kind of, like, military eulogy that may or may not have other implications of, like, he was a good man, perhaps one of the best men. And it's up to the reader to see whether or not that there actually is something else going on there, or if they were just close. Yeah, but this is the bit that I was thinking of. There is after his death, he wrote to Cornelia Roosevelt. I assume of the lineage of Teddy Roosevelt, though I'm not entirely sure. Right, Deep Red Wilds, damn. It's been a while since I've been here. He wrote the following: I am now solitary and alone, having no companion in the house with me. I have gone a-wooing to several gentlemen, but have not succeeded with any one of them. I feel that it is not good for man to be alone, and I should not be astonished to find myself married to some old maid who can nurse me when I am sick, provide good dinners for me when I am well, and not expect from me any very ardent or romantic affection. And during that same eulogy, I'm just mentioning it again because it's listed here, Buchanan described William Rufus King as among the best, the purest, and most consistent public men I have ever known. So again, it falls upon the reader for whether or not you believe that there was something else happening there. I personally think there was. Especially the line, I have gone a-wooing to several gentlemen. There's really only one way that can be interpreted. And that is kind of hilarious to me. Because this stuff always kind of gets stamped out in the history books. And I don't even mean that in the case of, like, homosexuality, but in the case of, like, US presidents especially, and just, like, public figures, are always seemingly boiled down to their bare essentials. Like, this is the president of the United States, he did this thing, he had this quality. They're sort of flanderized by time, that they, as time goes on, they kind of just get more and more boring, because there's not, a lot of people don't really see a reason to, you know, write down stuff about their personal life because it's none of your business. And on one hand, I get that, but it unfortunately leads to situations where the president is kind of just some guy who enacted some laws and did something. They kind of just turn into caricatures of themselves. They just become a guy that did the thing. I think that's good. They kind of just become guy that does thing, And a lot of the nuance and a lot of the silly stories are lost, which I think is unfortunate. It's always the reason why I enjoy history, is that history, there's something so brutally honest about history. That you can hear about the most nonsensical things, but a good historian will still document it. Because, in my opinion at least, it's still important. Also, I didn't chainsaw it enough, damn it. I didn't count right. Oh god, it's an Azure Garden. Not sure if I want to do that. Though, I will say, I am also decently close to getting the vending machine expedition badge. Let's see how far I am on that. 40 on 50. And I think it's 100 to get the, let's see, hang on. I'm at silver right now, so it's probably 50, and then 100, and then maybe 200 after that? And I mean, there is also the argument to be made that there is a point where the historian does not need to write down everything. And the example that comes to mind for this is Salvador Dali. Reading through the Wikipedia article for him is wild and not really in a good way. Oh wait, I just walked right past it. Yeah, it's this. I completely forgot about this. It doesn't lead to it doesn't lead to a river. That is the river. Man, this area is neat. But I'm always happy to share these kinds of stories because it's, you know, whimsy, right? Whimsy is such a it's such a rare thing in any sort of study, but especially just that kind of like professional academia. It's so rare to just take a step back and think, yeah, this is ridiculous and kind of goofy and kind of silly and funny. It's just, I don't know. I think it's healthy. That's about all I got for now, I think. I was hoping on getting it directly at 2828, but I overshot it a little bit. Thanks so much for watching.